Jordan trying to shake off Starks. Oh, what a LeBron James with no regard for human life. Final seconds. Bryant for the win.
Iverson against Gill, the crowd on its feet. Allen for the win.
Welcome to the Sneaker History Podcast.
What's up, everybody? Welcome to another episode of the Wu-Tang Clan. Just kidding. This is the Sneaker History Podcast. Favorite Wu-Tang Clan song? Go.
Gravel Pit.
Oh, crap. Dude, it put me on the spot. I literally just blanked completely. I'm like, 36 Chambers. What's on that song? What's that freaking... I don't know. I'm just I'm a sad person.
No, there's a lot of them. I mean, the thing is, I initially heard Robbie say Wu-Tang Clan, and I was like, I'm ready for a maritime, seafood-based Wu-Tang Clan appreciation podcast, so let's go for it. I'm the Fissure, and I've got the Old Dirty Barrage over there, and Inspector Swab the Deck. That's the best.
Oh my god. Is that a thing? Is there like a Wu-Tang pirate thing, or did you just come off the top with that? That was hilarious.
I think I came up at the top of it, but I didn't really like 2 out of the 3, and even Inspector Swab the Deca kind of feels 4, so I'll try to workshop some things by the end of the episode. How are you doing, Mike?
I'm doing good, man. I was telling you earlier that I just got done wrapping a few episodes of Bluey with my middle one as she woke up from her nap, made a t-shirt out of a cape, and now she's knocking down some juice in the snack, so we're having good times over here.
That's either a child you're talking about or a drunk friend. I don't know which one of the two. I'm kidding.
A child. It's a child.
Robbie, sometimes with all due respect to all the dads out there, they often blur into the same thing. A small child is a drunk friend if you really want to squint.
It's true. They like to run into things.
Oh, man. Maybe one day I'll get on your the level of you two. My favorite Wu-Tang Clan song is Triumph. I've put some time into that before. And also, listeners, Mike isn't uneducated. I hit both of them super randomly with that. Nobody knew it was coming. So
I wasn't ready.
That's my dirty, sick brain. Mike, I think you are ready for some rocking and copping, though. What you been rocking? What you been copping?
Yeah, man, I've fallen victim to the foam shoe because the homies at No Two Ways sent me a pair of their foams. It's like their 3-in-1 shoe. Went to the gym, lifted, played some ball, and I switched into these when I was done. Super dope shoe. Like them a lot. What I want to rock, 2 things. One, shoe related, of course, is going to be the new Crazy 8s Adidas is going to be putting out in those really nice suede fall colors, super, super clean. And then also, non-shoe related is the Asus Bape collaboration. Freaking awesome. I love that whole setup they have. I mean, I don't need it for $1,300, but I kind of want it.
Mike, you're the kind of guy... Well, I know if something with the Bape camo drops on it, you're mildly interested. At the floor, you're interested. So it can only go up from there. It is really cool though. And I mean, there's the Bape X, which is out of all of our price ranges for the most part. Like, they do cool shit. Like, it's just fun. So no hate on that. I'll go next because I have the other one of these still on. I did a little workout. I'm mixing Adidas and Reebok. Don't hate on me, but I work out in my living room. Wore the X3 again. These black ones are the workhorse. I have a great pair of Pride colors back there, but this Black Beauty right here, the thoroughbred Mustang in my workout life. I would be a much bigger man if it wasn't for the Reebok Nano X3. And when it comes to copping, they just did a whole bunch of like monochrome colorways of the X3. Those are all very interesting. And hot take that I want to use after Rowett goes into his rockin' and copping, but I wouldn't hate another pair of Wheezy Wave Runners. Those are retroing again. I sold off every Yeezy I owned except for the Wave Runner because I'm unapologetic about that being one of the top 10, and I mean this, like top 10 coolest looking design, colorway, practical, comfort. The mixture of everything I look for in a shoe is the Wave Runner Yeezy. So I'm not sorry about that, but I would be interested in copping a second pair. What's on your calendar for copping and what you've been rocking?
So what I've been rocking the Harassy 2K4 All-Star Games. I just put some
Ooh.
shots up. My goodness, this is a great shoe. I need to also be careful how I wear it because I don't want to scuff it too much because it is truly a beautiful shoe. As for what I popped, I also, in the performance-based footwear world, I was able to get my hand on a Touch of Gold Tiempo Legend 10. That's probably my favorite cleat to play in as I try to navigate the world of pickup soccer. It's something that's fun. I suck at it, but my old adage as is the same as Deion Sanders, which is you look good, you feel good, you feel good, you play better, and if you play better, you do better. So that's what we're doing.
Facts.
And I will give you more time for your hot take, Robbie, because I mean, as much of a Kanye hater as I am, and I tend to be a pretty grade A one at that, the Wave Runner shoe is quite nice. Are you looking for a particular colorway, or it doesn't matter?
No, so that is the Wave Runner is that color of that shoe.
Okay, fair.
Which then opens it up. Adidas is just dropping a lot of Yeezy stock in August, right? And through the end of the year, pretty well documented. Just whatever is in there is dropping. Interestingly, I saw a box of it, and it's just a blue Adidas box with Yeezy branding on it. They don't have the cool, which I find frustrating, Yeezy boxes to them. But it seems like they're rushing these out the door just to get people to buy whatever's laying around still. So I'm interested in a Wave Runner. I don't know if I'm going to buy it, but because my pair hasn't been worn since he really started running his mouth. So like June of last year, the last time I wore my Wave Runners, I'm going to let him go a little bit longer before pulling them back out. But I mean, do you guys feel any kind of way about them retro? Are you going to feel any kind of way seeing somebody break out a dead stock pair they bought August 2023? What are your feelings on the restocks? I have no interest other than Wave Runners. Go ahead.
Only thing I had some mild interest in was some of the 700s or 750s like you're talking about. But it was only mild interest. Like, oh, okay, cool. Wave Runners, of course, have piqued interest a little bit more, but I don't need them, especially because they're not going to – I don't think they're even honoring the price they were dropping them down to, what, $200 or whatever. Now they're still $300 freaking dollars or whatever they are. So I'm cool. I'm not mad at anybody who buys them or wears them. It's not. I mean, they're not Kanye, so I can't be mad at them. So they like the shoe. They like the shoe. It is what it is to me.
Yeah, for me, no issues with anybody that wants to cop Yeezys. If it brings them happiness, who am I to get in the way of the happiness? The one Yeezy shoe I always liked was the 1000, I believe, which was that high top one. And I don't think they're ever going to retro that again. So I'm in a good spot right now when it comes to all things Kanyeezus.
I was with two friends, and one of them was wearing Wave Runners, and friend 3 was like dogging them a little bit. And friend 2 was like, the money's already been spent, and these shits are comfortable, and they're fine. Like, so I totally get that point of view. Like, and I'm in that same boat too. All of the other Yeezys, happily, I have enough Boost shoes where I can just live without a 350. Like, I wasn't hurting getting rid of those. But like, the second I saw the Wave Runner before they even dropped, like when Kanye first announced partnership with Adidas, not first, they kind of showcased other shoes, but when that model and colorway first debuted, right, it's hard to not look at it, and it's hard to not look at it and see how it inspired. I think it's dead now, but the chunky dad shoe wave that was so prevalent for a while, in a way, I think it opened the door for the tech shoe stuff to come in, because really it is a technically loaded shoe that looks good being worn everywhere. And I think that ethos has kind of really exploded the past year and a half. So, hate the Wave Runner, love the Wave Runner. It did it.
It did it.
I mean, they did that, and I mean, so let's keep it Adidas. In one hand, you have, I think the underwhelming, underwanted Adidas stuff, and then the other hand, you have all this great non-Kobe product being retroed. So we have the crazy one in more colorways, like a Stormtrooper looking one, the crazy 8, which is just the Kobe, right, and the Infinity, which is the zipper joint Mike has. I think all three of us have interest in borderline the shoe. Is it the shoe or is it the Kobe connection?
I mean, I guess us being who we are still associate Adidas and Kobe, but even without the being able to have the right story behind it, because contractually they can't, I think they're still good looking shoes. I mean, they brought them back supposedly retailered to be closer to originals, which everyone's doing now. So I can't blame them for trying to be better. Um, but I just think they're interesting designs. I mean, this was something that caught my eye as soon as they started, giving us images. And at first, it was more of like, oh, this is something that Jerry Lorenzo designed, but he came out to say he didn't have anything to do with this particular one. But I just like the different things that we're getting from Adidas now. They're really trying to push the envelope in the sense of give people things they're wanting in the basketball space. And I said it once, I'll say it again. I think Adidas is kicking the crap out of everybody in basketball design. Now, I won't say performance, but design, aesthetically pleasing basketball shoes that I can get away with wearing on the street. I think Adidas is doing that right now, whether it be the new stuff, and you've seen like the new Dawn issue 3 coming, or is it 3 or whatever, or 5? I don't know what number it is at this point. 4? Man, we'll figure it out. But the new line that they've been 5, there we go. They've been introducing, I think overall has been great. And now you bring these classics back with the great, the Crazy 8, the Crazy 1. I think they have a good base to really make some noise this coming basketball season.
No, echo Mike's sentiment, but I will kind of zag in the sense that it truly does seem that the Adidas playbook is wide open, whereas I think Nike does the old Stockton and Malone tried and true. We know what brought us to the dance, so we're not going to ask anything different of the playlist. That being said, I'm always going to stand for the OG Adidas Kobe 2. I think if they ever retro that's when you will see me reenact my Fry from Futurama and be like, please take my money. It's an ugly shoe, but it's something that speaks to me. And it is something that, even in the moment, when we go back to the start of the century, those shoes still feel futuristic now that we've also seen a 23-year head start, in a sense of when they're retroing back, they don't look out of place as some other offerings may do. So they have been keen enough to kind of see where the direction was going from a design perspective, and they've been able to capitalize it. So the retro doesn't necessarily feel like a retro in my mind.
Rohit, that's a fantastic point because when the original, let's just use Kobe 1 and Kobe 2, the tanks, right? When those first dropped, lambasted, I mean, like, they're out there. They're fucking weird shoes. But fast forward 20 years, they fit in, and they're not so weird looking now. And that's the, hallmark of great design. Mike, I love the Infinity. I love the way you took some photos of them. They look great on people. I just don't. I've said this a couple times. I don't fuck with shrouds that much. Like, I don't want a zipper shoe. Like, of all the irises, the Answer 4 is like my least favorite, just because, like, what am I going to do with the zipper?
Shroud.
I'm not looking for speed. I'm not looking for lateral stability, which is what those design cues were made for. But then you have really interesting colorways of like the Crazy 8 and kind of like a Amon Shumpert New York Knicks hue, right? Like orange blue. Very interesting.
Orange blue.
The Kobe 1 or the Crazy 1, whatever you want to call it. I have the silver pair, and to kind of go back to what I just said, when I first saw that shoe when I was a kid, I was like, I'm never wearing that. It's ugly. But as a grown man, putting them on and letting them form to my foot, those shoes are incredibly comfortable. Rohit, is that Kobe 2 in your hand incredibly comfortable too? Like, they're great feeling shoes.
Mm-hmm. It's exactly that. And I think they had the foresight to say, you know what, there does need to be a certain aesthetic that needs to be met or measured, but then at the same time, comfort is king. And these truly are comfortable. Yeah, you may have to kind of deal with a couple of glances if you wear them out and about, but I do think people recognize the fast-forwarding nature of them. I mean, even something as simple as the campaign that went with these. Wasn't that the Kobe commercial where he was doing all those outlandish dunks where he did the first 720 before we even thought that was physically possible? So it's been a hallmark of that sneaker line. The question I have to both of you is this. Could you see anybody in Adidas's roster of stars saying, you know what, let me be the unofficial face of the crazies? The Crazy 8s, the Crazy 1s. Heaven forbid we may even get a Kobe 2, whatever the hell they're going to call that, maybe the craziest one. But, like, do you see somebody wanting to take that mantelpiece on? Because I think that would maybe usher in a new generation appreciating these shoes. Because right now, yeah, Kobe is everything for a lot of people, but I don't think they have the same visibility if they would, if, let's say, a young star from the Oklahoma City Thunder. I think hopefully Jalen Williams, the good one, is actually they're both very good. Is an Adidas athlete. If they became the face of the shoe, I think that would go a long way in terms of establishing a credential to this.
Well, I think Jalen Green would probably be the person to do it from the Rockets, just because his style, kind of outlandish there. I mean, he just needs to be in my team. I'll be heavily criticizing, but he just needs to be better and really take the team on his back for it to make sense for them to go say, hey, you be the next crazy athlete, leader of this, lead this pack of shoes, because I think it would make sense for him because he's explosive, super young. He's, one of the guys who's really into the fashion, so it makes sense all the way around, because the only other person I would think it would make sense for has his own shoe, and that's James Harden, and God knows what he's even doing right now when it comes to even playing next year. So I think Jalen Green would probably be a solid choice, along with some other young athletes, to really take the lead on this line.
I think you're talking about future Shanghai Sharks, James Harden. And you know what, listeners, I just want to say this. I think from a big San Antonio Spurs fan like Mike Ace to commemorate the crazy line with Jalen Green, I think that's really mature of you, Mike. So thank you again for being the adult in the room.
I hate the Spurs.
Mike loves the Spurs. I mean, and the question is who could? I had to Google his name because in my brain it was just tall white guy from Utah, which is a lot of the state of Utah. Walker Kessler.
Walker Kessler?
Yeah. I mean, there's Adidas grassroots program. I mean, NIL, whatever. The line is so blurred. Their ability to sign a lot of young players to their brand, like just onto the roster without SIG shoes, I think is very powerful. And he's the first person I thought of. This is really like kind of going out there, but Evan Mobley, he's an Adidas athlete, which I think could wear. I mean, he is polarizing. People love him, people hate him, but I mean, he could. Here's a real crazy thing. Obviously, this is not any news. This isn't verified by anybody. But like if Cooper Flagg signed with Adidas, right? I could see somebody like him really it could be some cool internet stuff. Because there's a lot of the NIL stuff and the young players are getting bigger and bigger online. Like 5 years ago, big basketball heads knew who, the top kids in the basketball world were. But now it's just like, it's everywhere. There's an overtime or there's highlights of everything everywhere. So
yep, true.
That could be fun.
One other thing as well, Robbie, this kind of popped in my head because we are still kind of talking about Kobe. Did you guys also see the news that I believe the University of Kentucky will be the first Kobe-branded Nike school? So now we're starting to see that also kind of go in. And I guess over under 5.5 years before we see the first athlete get his or her signature shoe before they even commit to a college at this rate, or if they're in college. Because if a Caitlin Clark type player comes down the line, let's say in the next 5 to 10 years, I would not be shocked if she gets her own SIG when she's still in the NCAA.
That's crazy to even think of. I'm going to say over. I feel like there's so many more logistics to figure out there, but I don't think it's far-fetched. I mean, it can happen. I think it's just going to be over the 5-year mark, though, because they're still trying to figure out this NIL deal to, perfect it. But it can be a thing.
I'm going to say under, because that shmoney talks, baby. And I think, yeah. I mean, the more and more we get older and start sounding like old men yelling at the sky about kids liking X, Y, and Z and us not getting it, I mean, we might not get it, but, I mean, this isn't the exact thing, but Scoot Henderson having a Scoot PE of a Puma shoe that you could go buy on Puma.com. Now you can go buy the Puma. It's a Nitro. No, it's not a Nitro. It's a Clyde
Court 2?
It's something like that. But you could
could
have bought it when he was still in the G League or developmental league. So that's crazy, and I think also very, very cool. Less than 5 years for sure. Thank you for bringing that up, Rohit. So we also have here, just speaking of shoes, and Rohit also bringing up the Kentucky being Kobe shoe. LeBron has, and his logo in particular, has been on a 2 or 3 historically black college and university jerseys.
For A&M.
There's like 2 or 3 release colorways too of these colleges. So I think that's definitely going to be the way. Like, there's going to be a Curry brand sponsored Notre Dame basketball team in 5 years. Watch. So I bring up LeBron because we've now seen a lot of photos of the LeBron 21. Rowett, you're a fan of the LeBron 20. So I'll kick it off to you first. How do you feel about the LeBron 21?
I think it seems to be a directional shoe, and it's always one of those things now. Whenever I think about Nike basketball, I can't even think about the shoe as it's releasing today, because inevitably it's a term that we utilize a lot with Nike design and other design as well, which is the triad. And now that's how I view shoes. It's not necessarily about the first shoe, other than the fact that it's a table setter, and the second shoe is also going to be a table setter, and the third shoe will be that culmination of an idea. If I try to evaluate the 21 on its own, I think it looks good. I think it borrows obviously from the low-cut nature of the 20, but I'm also interested to see more colorways, because that purple colorway, I know that's a royal color. I know there's a lot of iconic shoes in the LeBron universe that don that royal purple, but that doesn't necessarily hit for me. So I'm going to take the wait-and-see approach. Mike, how about you?
Initially, I'm a fan from what I saw so far. So I'm kind of in the same school of thought as you, Rohit, where I like what I saw so far. The purple colorway, I like it. I don't think I need that color. I was more interested in the white and gold color that he had when he was doing his training. That one was really cool, kind of that pearl finish on it. That was really nice. I saw a cross section of the shoe. Someone, I guess, has it and cut it open already, and it looks like there is a zoom turbo on the forefoot, a very high, like, raised shank plate, so you're going to get more, I guess, torsion control. And supposedly, and don't take my word on this, but it supposedly is supposed to be considered the biggest zoom bag they put in the heel of a LeBron so far. Only thing I am missing on that was what they're doing to KD, and I think I love that as a zoom strobel. I wish everything had a zoom strobel in it. That would just make a lot of difference. I don't know if it's just a LeBron preference, but I'm very interested in this shoe. For technical reasons, I think it looks great. Reminds me of almost like a Kobe 4 and that LeBron 20 kind of, they had a baby on steroids. So very interesting to look. Waiting for some more colorways, because this initial one, I don't have to have this purple.
So there's also this red one. There's the gold one. I like it. Bringing up the triad of design, I think, is important, because this is definitely a more slimmed down looking version of the LeBron 20. Obviously, the heel is a little Kyrie-ish, right? The really accented, detailed plastic heel clip on the back, but just the slope of the forefoot and the toe box is a much more refined looking 20. I still want a pair of LeBron 20s, but they're not going down as fast as I would have liked them to, even as we get images of the next LeBron. That's insane to me. They're good, especially with the knowledge of more and more Kobe shoes coming out. I historically have bought until the 20. I have almost every one of LeBron's shoes up until the 20 in the closet now, and it's like, I don't see myself doing that anymore. And not in a bad way, like the design's bad, but just like, I could look myself in the mirror and be like, you haven't worn that LeBron 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, or 19 in years. So, like, what's the point of buying a 21? The embossed raised swoosh, I don't like that either. But knowing Nike, that's not going to be the end-all, be-all of how they execute a swoosh on a LeBron shoe. They're always playing with different materials, overlays, engravings. He gets all the nines. But just, it's a cool-looking shoe. I want to see Anthony Davis playing it. I want to see LeBron James playing it. Like, my two favorite players in the league wear it. So it's like, they're cool shoes. But, like, Robbie the consumer, who can't justify wearing the last 10 LeBrons in public, like, I'm not going to buy the 21. But it's very cool.
But see, I think I'll disagree with you in the sense that I do think the 20 and the 21 are a little bit more fashion friendly, like Mike had kind of posed earlier in the episode, where I don't feel as uncomfortable wearing them out and about in the streets as I would, to your point, anything with a battle knit, because that, in my mind, kind of characterizes that era prior to this one of the LeBron footwear, where it was truly the tumbler in terms of Batmobile technologies for your feet. Like, you were ready to go to war for those shoes. Those shoes were built for war. They look haggard. They look rugged. They look like they are about to put up a shift on anybody that wants to guard you. And these shoes feel light. Not only that, I feel the colorways have been a little bit even lighter in terms of the themes. Like, there isn't as war heavy of the motifs or the imagery or even the language in referencing the product. So definitely something to consider. I do think this is gonna kind of usher in his 4.56 from a Kobe perspective, because I haven't seen the LeBron 22, but I would make the argument that if we're using the 20 and the 21 as the precursors, that's going to have Kobe 6 vibes, whatever that may be, and we won't even see it for another year.
Yeah. Also, kids, don't smoke the Zaza, because that Nano X3 I had in my hand that I showed during Rockin' and Coppin', the other one's on my foot, like I said, and the one I had in my hand is like gone, and I really cannot.
Your cat stole it, bro.
I do not know. I mean, she is strong enough to drag a pair of shoes by the shoelaces. I've seen her do it. But wow, this is fucking weird. Like, I had the shoe in my hand, and like sometimes I'll throw them off camera. Oh, I did. It bounced 4 times. Okay. I was like, man, the one of them's on my foot. And anywho.
Yeah, I was going to say, speaking of on foot and kind of disappearing and then coming back again, what do you guys make of the news of Jordan Brand signing a couple of athletes that aren't necessarily in the world of basketball with both Aaron Judge and Jalen Hurts?
Jalen Hurts, I thought he was already signed to Jordan Brand, honestly. I had no idea he wasn't signed already. So I was like, did I read an old post? But I didn't know he was basically just a free agent until then. Aaron Judge, I feel like this is the worst time to announce this Jordan Brand signing, since the Yankees are actual hot garbage. They should have waited till next season at some point, because literally I saw that, I was like, I already hate the Yankees, hate Aaron Judge. And this kind of made me giggle, because I'm like, it makes no difference, because no baseball player is making a difference in the Jordan Brand line. And that was my rant.
So, Mike, you being the noted baseball guy, no, although I take that back, Robbie is a big Mariners fan, so apologies, Robbie. Would it have moved the needle had they signed Shohei Ohtani?
1,000,000%. And it still wouldn't be it would be still a drop in the bucket, but it would have made a way more of a difference, because Shohei is the best player in baseball right now. And that's me becoming an Astros fan who are in the same division as the Angels. I will give Shohei all the flowers, because he does literally everything. And Aaron Judge is just a big man-child who can't drag his team out of the gutter. You can't tell I hate the Yankees if I didn't say that again.
So, I mean, obviously the record not being great doesn't help, but you have to have big. I mean, Jordan Brand's been in the business of diversification for the last decade, really pushing it, right? It's interesting to think how Derek Jeter and like Roy Jones Jr., right, boxing was like the first frontier, and now I see Jordan, NASCAR, the number 3. I don't know if it's the number 3, but a black cement, Jordan 3, NASCAR. I think it's Kurt Busch. No, I don't know NASCAR well enough. I know there is a Jordan Brand athlete with it.
Bubba Wallace has a Jordan Brand car, and I think it is Kurt Busch who just did the Skyline car at Chicago Road Race, I think.
Yep.
So
no, I mean it's also one of those things that may also be tied to the fact that MJ is a big racing fan. Like, he loves race cars, and I'm wondering if that's part of that North Carolina history, because I know North Carolina as a state also has some firmly entrenched roots in old bootlegging / auto racing. So I get that now. But to your point around Derek Jeter, the last thing I can think of in a non-basketball sense is that Derek Jeter tip of the hat campaign when he retired. I haven't seen anything from Jordan Brand in terms of showing an awareness, let alone an interest in any non-basketball athlete. And to also kind of bring up the boxing sense, I believe Andre Ward, who at the time was considered one of the best pound-for-pound fighters in the world, was also Jordan affiliated, but it's never been the same other than maybe a quick, brief cameo in other Jordan-related advertisements.
yeah, I mean, you're right in not tying it to a person, but I think the golf stuff, they're doing tons of partnerships and collabs with, like, you know, black-owned golf. I don't know if it's companies or groups. Yeah. You know, they're showing that golf isn't just for one type of person. But to go back to the Aaron Judge thing, I don't care about Aaron Judge wearing Jordans. Like, he does nothing for me. Period. Jalen Hurts, on the other hand, if you follow Jalen Hurts, he's a very fashionable, like, sleek. That's a weird thing to say about another man, but like,
smooth.
Smooth. Bro, he's just like, he's got that like suave. Yeah, he's got that like suave, like, I'm a fucking quarterback of the Eagles. Like, this is my fit. Like, a lot of swagger, as a lot of NFL players do. It's a lot of like quiet swagger to Jalen Hurts. So I would love to see Jordan Brand push, not like nobody gives a crap about a signature cleat, but like highlight him in the marketing campaigns, highlight him in a lot of stuff, because I think Patrick Mahomes is obviously that guy. Josh Allen is that guy, but Jalen Hurts isn't not that guy. So this year's going to be a really big one for him to see if that crazy success from last year was a fluke or not, or if the trajectory is still going up, if it's plateauing. Great move, great signing at this time for a great guy. I'm not even an Eagles fan, but I am a Jalen Hurts fan, so obviously.
So I'm a Chiefs fan, but I love Jalen Hurts. He's probably my second favorite quarterback in the league. And it's to your point, Robbie, about not only does he carry himself with a certain swagger, a smoothness that we don't necessarily associate with quarterbacks, because at times they tend to be very robotic and be like, okay, I'm about to go to Disneyland, I'm a pocket passer. He breaks conventions, and it's something that's very unique about him, because when you watch him, especially in college, there was just an intangible quality that he had that, if nothing else, lets you know that he's going to be a successful quarterback. He may not beat you with his arm, he beats you with his legs, but more importantly, he beats you with his mind. And I will always ride or die for Jalen Hurts, because he could have very easily won that Super Bowl, and I would have been a sad, sad boy.
Yeah.
One thing I thought of, and you guys correct me if I'm wrong, but what makes the difference with these two signings, not if you take the players out of the equation, sign someone who you can actually go buy a Jordan Brand, Jordan 1 football cleat, a Jordan 6 football cleat, a Jordan 11 football cleat. I don't think they're making the football, the baseball spikes in the actual Jordan 11 that they're all wearing, like CC Sabathia. He's out there wearing your Jordan 11 cleats on the mound. I don't think you can go buy those, right? If I'm not mistaken, they don't have those for a sale for just a general consumer. So if I want to go play baseball as a high school or a college player, have that swag on the field, I can't go do that. They go get a custom makeup, correct?
I believe so, but then I think that goes into something deeper, which is how do you solve baseball? Because I think outside of a couple diehards, I don't think I don't want to say it's not relevant, because it's still a time-honored tradition. It truly is a pastime of a country.
Though.
But I don't. And it's also a question of, how does a young baseball fan get into it if they live in a non-traditional baseball market? Like, I get that kids from Boston, New York, St. Louis, and hell, maybe even Seattle to a degree, are always going to ride or die for their local teams. But if I'm not living in one of those states, what about baseball captivates me the same way that basketball does, that football does, that hell, even global football does? Because I think right now, a global football player may have a better cultural awareness and Q rating than a baseball player might in America, which is saying something.
Yeah.
1,000,000%. You saw what Messi did when he got here. That's not Jordan Brand related, but you saw what he did by himself moving to Miami. He literally changed the landscape of global football, soccer, and just that.
Yeah. So, I mean, we'll go ahead and wrap on that. Mike, you brought up a fantastic question, and I looked. There are Jordan Brand baseball cleats you can buy. They're all Jordan 1s. All of this Jordan 1s, which isn't bad.
Okay.
Yeah, but there are Dick's selling them. Dick's Sporting Goods sells everything like that. But on that note, listeners, do you care about Aaron Judge signing with baseball? And signing with Jordan Brand? What about Jalen Hurts? Do you like the Kobe stuff without Kobe's name on it? Is the LeBron 21 a good step up from the LeBron 20? These are the answers that you know and only you can tell us. So leave a review, drop in, join the Discord, come and just have fun and join the conversation. I've been Robbie. He's Mike. He's also Rowett. This has been Sneaker History. Make sure you're following on all major platforms, listening on all major platforms, and thanks so much for tuning in with us. Have a great rest of your day.
Peace, everybody.
Hey everyone, this is Nick again. Before you take off, do us a solid and head over to Apple Podcasts to leave us a review. Give us a rating on Spotify and Amazon Music, and make sure you're subscribed to our YouTube channel because we have even more video content coming soon. Speaking of new content, we have an amazing community of sneaker enthusiasts that hang out in our Sneaker History Discord on a daily basis. While sneakers is a connection point that brought us all together, we've all discovered countless shared passions that we have in common with each other. We recently launched a couple of new podcasts directly from our community. One of them is a Formula One podcast. If you're an F1 fan like me, the Exhaust Notes podcast is your weekly fix of Formula One fun. It's hosted by myself, Rowett Malhotra, and Todd Yates. New episodes drop every Tuesday. I've been wearing fitted hats for years and collecting my favorite teams since I was a little leaguer. It has been awesome to see so many new fans getting into fitteds in recent years. Crown and Stitch is our new talk show about fitted hats with Dexter, Keith, and myself, where we talk about fitted hats, snapbacks, throw in some obscure hats because we all kind of like some funky stuff once in a while, don't we? Copping, collecting, and so much more. New episodes drop every Wednesday. Hit the links in the show notes for this episode to give our new shows a listen, and be on the lookout for more new podcasts dropping soon. Last but not least, tell someone you like their kicks today. You never know how far a simple compliment can take you, and we all know how good it feels to have someone show their appreciation. Thank you all for the support, and we'll catch you on the next episode. Peace.